times we all have to go through so many different trials and tribulations. And you went to one to the point that almost suicide. You saw your son and said, well, if I can't feed him and clothe him and give him a place to stay, if I died, my life insurance will be able to take care of him. And then with that surrender, and then you went all the way down to the bottom, you had a book or a system of gratitude, which you now tweaked and defined and made it amazing, and got a community of people that are sharing that gratitude, and that amazing community of people that are all one. And really all we are one. And the system and the amazing, that community you created is incredible. I was there when you do your gratitude night that one time, and we used to do other sessions when we were in person, but this was really, really unique because with the Zoom, you got to see each one in a block, and it was like they had the chance. One person has a chance to say, I'm having this issue, and everybody was popping in and I'll help you. And it was so wonderful to watch. And you have 18,000 people in your database of gratitude, of being in alignment. And I want you to talk about alignment. That is your specialty. And you're just absolutely amazing on that. And I know I read this last time, but I think that this is a lot nicer than
It's okay.
But
Thank
it's
you
just
so much. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Of course.
This is really an honor and a privilege to be here. Thank
Amen.
you so much.
Thank you very much. Do you want to hold it, or do you want to put it on
You know what?
here?
I'll hold it.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. I am very sorry that I'm so late, but this is LA traffic. Maybe it's because I haven't driven so long to such distances in the middle of rush hour traffic, but this has tested my patience, tested my my serenity. You know, it's challenged my serenity, and I'm very unfortunately that it took me such a long time to get here. Anyways, I want to thank you so much, Michal. I've known Michal for a long time, and when she asked me to do this, I thought this is amazing. I want to do this. I want to spread this message that I'm here to spread. Excuse me. So, like Michal was saying, that you know, I started on this journey of spirituality many years ago. I moved to Los Angeles 20 years ago, and I started on this message of recovery of spirituality for that long of a period of time. And it was I was doing all these seminars, all these transformational seminars. I was doing all these spirituality retreats, all this. You know, going to see the Dalai Lama twice. I met the Dalai Lama once, and I had the opportunity to do all of this work, also called work, and read all these books. I read so many books. I read books that most of you probably don't even know. You know, I read books by Judah Krishnamurti, and Judah Krishnamurti is actually one of these obscure Indian philosophers that was just like, you know, amazing to me that this man wrote these super dense books. And anyway, so I was reading all of this stuff, and and what happened was that knowledge means absolutely nothing if you're not operating from that. If you're not operating from what you're reading, it's just knowledge and it's just words. And I didn't know that. I didn't know that 6 years ago, when I found myself in the worst moment of my life, and I was going to be amazed. You know, I had started a company. And what happened was that I raised money for it, and then I ran out of money. And 6 years ago, I was out of money, and I put all my savings into this company, and then I maxed out my credit cards. And then I took out mortgages on some real estate that I own, and I took out second mortgages on this real estate, and I couldn't raise any more money. And what happened was that I ended up, um, I was running out of money very quickly, and I remember just thinking, what am I going to do? If I run out of money, what am I going to do? And I ended up running out of money, and I got an eviction notice from my place, in Los Angeles. And when I got that, all I could think about was I'm going to have to commit suicide so that my son could get the life insurance policy. And it was just like like this solution that's not really a solution, right? It's this situation that I was in, and I didn't know how to get out of, because when I was in that situation, all I could see was the spiral down of this situation, and I couldn't see how I was going to come out of that, how things were going to change. I couldn't see how I was going to be able to afford to get out of this mess that I've created for myself. And I had a partner in one of the buildings that I own. I have a partner, and he had lent me some money, and I told him that I was going to pay him, and then I was like, really, I couldn't pay him, so I had to call him, and I had to sit down with him, and I told him, I can't pay you, can't pay you, and this is what I'm thinking. And I told him that I wanted to commit suicide. It was the first time that I actually told anybody this, right, about this. And then he looked at me, his eyes got big, and he says, you know what, don't worry about me. You and I can sort this out later. Why don't we just let it go for now, and we'll see what happens. That night, I went back home. Excuse me. I went back home, and I thought, I got down on my knees, and I said, if there is a God, because at this point, I don't know if there's a God. I don't know if there's what's going on in the world. At this point, I don't know anything. At this point, I'm questioning everything, God, spirit, universe, whatever you want to call it. I'm thinking, I drank the Kool-Aid, and I'm here by myself. And I'm in this downward spiral. And I got down on my knees, and I said, if there's a God, show me a different way, because my way is not working. And in that absolute surrender, everything changes, and it changed for me, because at that point I became teachable, I became malleable, and I let go of all the belief systems that I had. I let go of how things needed to look, what things needed to happen. I let go of everything in that moment. I said, show me. I don't know. It's like being lost somewhere and going, show me where to go, because I don't know. And so that's what happened. And and immediately my eyesight went to this gratitude work that a friend of mine had given me a couple of months before, that I thought, gratitude, I don't, forget about gratitude. I've been doing gratitude for 20 years, blah, blah, blah. I was like, because I learned, I had mentors that would say, Napoleon, write a gratitude list. So I would write these gratitude lists, and I would like write them down and write down these gratitude lists, and they would work. But this was not like that, right? This is actually gratitude in advance. And what happened was that I started to do these gratitude exercises, and I was doing them like my life depended on them, because they did. And what happened was, as I wrote this gratitude list over and over again every single day, 3 weeks into doing these gratitude exercises, I met an internet pioneer who agreed to become my partner. And this guy, he was worth billions of dollars at one point, and he agreed to become my partner. And I was excited. I was like thrilled, and oh my God, this is awesome. And then a few weeks later, I raised $25,000 for my company. Not that $25,000 was worth anything, because $25,000 at that point was like a drop in the bucket. It was like, it's like a drop of water that's about to hit a super hot skillet. It evaporated before it hit the it hit the skillet. I think it evaporated before it hit the account. 25,000, but but $25,000, and I was like, it was this relief. And then a few weeks later, I raised the $500,000. And then at that point, everybody, all my friends are saying, "Oh my God, Napoleon, it's the gratitude work. Oh my God!" And I would say, "Yes, it's the gratitude work. It's the blah blah blah." And they would say, "Well, can you add me? Can you send me these exercises every night?" And I would say, "Yes, I'll send them to you every night." Blah blah blah. Great. So I started sending them to my friends, and we would do them the following day. And it started off with two friends of mine and myself, and we would support each other. And I would send it to them, and the next day I would write them, and then I would call them. Did you do it? Did you do it? Yes, yes, yes. We did it. We did it. And it was really fun, right? And I wanted to prove to myself that the reason why I got that money was as the result of doing this gratitude work. Because when people would tell me, Napoleon, this is the gratitude work. Oh my God, oh my God, this is so great. I would have this little voice in the back of my head that would say, maybe you just got lucky. Maybe it was coincidence. Maybe, maybe, maybe. And I kept on thinking, this is, I need to prove to myself that this is the reason why I got this money. Now, in the face of evidence, I got $500,000. In the face of evidence, I'm thinking, maybe this is just coincidence. Maybe I just got lucky. Maybe, maybe, maybe. Now, most of you are, or some of you are listening to this and are thinking, is this real? Is this true? Is this? So even if I showed you the bank account statements from that moment, some of you would even be skeptical. And that was the case for me. And so what happened was, this is happening. It happens all over the world, where people, in the face of evidence, they refuse to believe something because it doesn't correspond to their already existing belief system. And what happened for me was that I started studying the brain, and I wanted to find out more about it. How did this work? And I started realizing, well, I learned a lot. I learned that anything that you do for 21 days, 3 times, will rewire your brain, will create new neural pathways. So what that means is that the brain, by the time it's 7 years old, you are 7 years old, you've created a bunch of ideas and preconceived notions about who you are, how life is, what you do, and how you are. And as we get older, these belief systems become much more entrenched in our bodies, in our minds. And so I learned that, and I learned that anything that you do in these 3 cycles of 21 days or more will rewire your brain, will create new neural pathways that will completely change the way that you think, that completely change the way that you envision things, that you visualize, that you look at life, right? So what happened was that I started studying more about the brain, and I found out that anything that we do within the first hour after we wake up, or the last hour before we go to sleep, will go into our subconscious unfiltered. And it goes right into our subconscious unfiltered. And what happens is that as this goes into our subconscious unfiltered, it starts creating new neural pathways. Anything that we say about ourselves goes right into our subconscious. And the more we repeat it, the more we let these ideas, or the more the brain accepts these ideas. Now, there is something else, right? So the critical brain, the amygdala, as it's commonly called, the reptilian brain is the first part of the brain that was created when humans were basically getting, becoming people or becoming Homo sapiens. Um, and the reptilian brain will bounce off any new ideas that it doesn't already have a point of reference to. So if you try to introduce any new ideas to this to the brain, the reptilian brain will bounce them off, like discard them, kind of like what I did when I saw the evidence that I had gotten $500,000 and that I still couldn't believe that I had got that $500,000. And so what happens is that's the reptilian brain, that's the amygdala that's bouncing off all that idea, the critical part of the brain saying, nope, 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 it can't be. It's just impossible. And what happens is that the brain, once you start repeating these statements, it takes a little bit of time for the brain to actually start listening. Now, what gratitude has done and what gratitude does is that it introduces these ideas under this guise of gratitude. And we already have a point of reference to gratitude that was created by the time we were 7. So by doing this, by taking these new ideas and saying, attaching the word gratitude or grateful, then the brain lets this new information in. That's what I discovered. That's the reason why when I was doing these gratitude exercises and saying them out loud, they started to work and they kept on working to this moment. I've been doing this for 6 years. I've missed 14 days in those 16 years. It's been an amazing transformation. Um, so anyway, so I started studying the brain, and then I wanted to prove to myself that the reason why I got that money was as a result of doing this gratitude work. And I wanted to find out if that was the case, and I wanted to see and experience it, right? So I set a goal to get $2 million based on a $20 million valuation for my company. I wanted to raise that money. $2 million based on a $20 million valuation. And, excuse me. What happened was that as I started doing this gratitude work, visualizing. So the way it goes, it says, the way that I would write these exercises was that I'm happy and grateful for the $2 million based on a $20 million valuation for my company, because it's helped me launch my company. Because is very important. So I started visualizing this and visualizing this. I started like writing them down, visualizing these exercises, the money in the bank account, visualizing the statement with the name of my company in the bank statement with the bank logo, and feeling really awesome how it feels to have all that money in the bank. How does it feel? How amazing. And I started attaching those feelings to it. And as I'm doing this, my brain starts responding in ways that I didn't even know that was responding, right? And I started doing this day in and day out. And I started this in February of 2015. So it's going to be 5 years this February, right? It's going to be 6 years this February. But I have been doing this work for 6 years, since June of 2014. And so what happened was that August of 2014. So I started doing this, visualizing it's $2 million, $2 million, $2 million. And I would repeat it over and over again. And I'm grateful and feeling this gratitude for this money, feeling it. The feeling is so important. It's by far one of the most important things, this feeling. And as I kept on doing it, things started changing in a way that I didn't know. You know, I started feeling differently. I started feeling like it was happening, that I could do it. I could see the money. I could see the possibilities of this happening, because the rewiring of the brain was taking place, right? And then 4 months later, I was invited to a symposium with 15 CEOs and billionaires and founders of, iconic tech companies in Silicon Valley. And we're sitting there, and I'm sitting there, and you get an opportunity to sit in front of them, and you say who you are, what you're looking for, who you are, what you do, and what you're looking for. So I said, I'm Napoleon. This is what I do, and I'm looking $2 million for $2 million based on a $20 million valuation. And it was like they looked at me like I was crazy. They rolled their eyes at me, and I'm sitting there 15 feet away from them, right? I wanted to tell them, I can see you rolling your eyes at me. Because they were like, and one of them said, you're delusional. Who's going to give you the money? You don't have any exits. You never sold a company. You don't even have a product. Because I didn't have a product. I didn't even have a product. And he says, where'd you go to school? And I said, I wanted to say, I went to blah, blah, blah. And, because it was a school, George Washington University is a good school, right? So, but, they wanted to hear Stanford, Harvard, whatever. But at this point, I had completely rewired my brain. And I had completely changed the way that I saw the world. And I didn't have to accept his opinion as for my reality. And unfortunately, there are people just like this gentleman in the world. There's many of them in this world that will try to put negativity into that have so much negativity in their lives that that's all they dispense. And I was fortunate enough to know at that point that I didn't have to accept it. And I said, excuse me. I told him, excuse me, I didn't come here to ask you for permission. I came here to share with you what I'm doing. And he says, you're still delusional. 2 months later, I got the money. I got the $2 million based on a $20 million valuation. And when I got that money, my belief system completely shifted, and I became aligned with this knowledge because I realized that this is the way that the universe works. And I realized that if this is possible, anything is possible, because I had made this goal to be so beyond impossible. This was against all belief systems. This was like, nobody thought that this was possible. Nobody thought that I could do this. Yes, they said that's possible to raise $2 million based on a $20 million valuation, but not for you, coming from where you come from and not having what you don't have, not having a product, and not having a clear cut vision for what blah, 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 all of that stuff. I was laughed out of meetings. I went to meetings. I went to meet with anybody that would listen. I went to meetings, and I had this man in Silicon Valley sit there and say, "What are you here for?" Like literally, like that was his voice. "What are you here for?" And I said, "Hi, my friend so and so introduced me, and I wanted to say that I have this idea, blah 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 blah. And what are you looking for?" And I said, $2 million based on a $20 million valuation. He's like, "You're delusional." And he takes his phone, presses a button, says, "Rosie, come in here, please, and show this man out." I'm like, "But seriously, this is going to happen, blah, blah, blah." He's like, "Nah." And he threw me out of the office. And like that, there were endless amounts of people. But I didn't care because I was so focused and so relentless about what I wanted. And I would repeat these exercises and do these gratitude exercises, and I visualized them. And then I got the $2 million. When I got those $2 million, I was amazed. to tell you the truth, I was like, holy shit. Like, like walking down somewhere in the river and stumbling on some pot of gold and going, oh, fuck. That's exactly how I felt. And I got this gold, and it was like, wow, this is amazing. At this point, this gratitude work had completely taken off, right? And when I shared this story with people, and I would do these workshops or these play shops with some people, I would tell them this story. And undoubtedly, everybody wants to be a member of the gratitude text group that I send out every night. I send out this gratitude exercises now to 18,000 people in multiple apps, hundreds of groups. It takes me an hour to send them out every night, and in multiple languages, But this has been the basis, and people have suggested to me that I automate this whole system. And I always say, why would I want to remove myself from the source of what actually got me here? Why would I want to do that? And so what happened was that I started doing this, and I started getting invited to speak at symposiums. I spoke in Spain to 1,000 plus people, 1,200 people. I spoke in different parts of the country to hundreds of people, and I do this workshop. And I'm actually replicating this workshop now with you. And what happened was that as I started doing these exercises, things started becoming clearer also. So they start becoming clearer, and then you start seeing that this whole world, this whole system, universe that we live in is not really all there. It's really like the Matrix. I love what Bruce Lipton says. Dr. Bruce Lipton says that the Matrix is not a movie, it's a documentary. That the movie The Matrix, right, is a documentary. I believe that. I believe that the movie The Matrix is actually the system that we live in this wave of energy where everything is connected. The air, the rocks, the floor, human beings, we're all just one part of one big, wave of energy. It's funny because I always used to hear people talk about how all humans are connected. But as I come to believe that it's not only human beings, but everything is connected. And so if we start looking at life like that, and so it doesn't take anything for us to do or to move anything that we think it's real, a chair or a car. And since it's all molecules, because this is seventh grade science, right? It's all molecules rotating around atoms, right? That's all we are. We're all energy, and everything is energy. And so I'm here to tell you that any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. And I love that quote. Yeah, I can't remember who said it, but I wish it would have been me, right? But anyway, so it's an amazing discovery that if it's all magic and we can create everything in our lives, why do we keep living in this menial, little, crappy lives? Why do we keep believing people that don't have any idea of how the universe works? Why do we keep thinking that our lives have to be suffering, or that we need to suffer? And I'll tell you why. It's because by the time we were 7 years old, someone said something to us that made us believe all these things that are really not true. Anyway, so I'm going to tell you now, I'm going to share with you the gratitude exercises that I send out every night, and I'm going to tell you how I do them and how and the tweaks that I made. But before we do that, I'm going to share with you a couple of different apps that I use now. I do a lot of work around this. It takes me an hour and a half in the morning to actually get to see my first appointment or get to talk to anybody, because I put all this work, all this spiritual work before anything else that I do. And the reason is that there is not enough running around in this physical realm that can replace the work that I do spiritually. For me, doing this work spiritually shortens the amount of time that it takes for the universe, not the universe, shortens the amount of time that the physical world, that stuff happens in the physical world. Meaning, if I want something and I do the work spiritually, it's going to come quicker than if I just do all the work in the spiritual plane. You may do that, but it's going to take you a much longer time. And not only that, and there are even no guarantees, because the belief is the basis for everything. I found out that if I believe in something, and if I believe in something happening, that it will happen. And not only will happen, it will happen in the time that I say it's going to happen, in many times. Now I'm actually, that's a realization, right? So another breakthrough that I had yesterday, I was on the phone with someone, with this amazing person that I've been talking to, and we were talking about all of this work, and I told her that I had envisioned this house, and that I was visualizing this house, and blah blah blah, and that I knew exactly how the house looked like, what the house looked like, what everything in that house. And she asked me, does the house already exist? And I said, and it took me a moment just to realize that if I can visualize it, the house already exists. And the reason is that, as I came to find out 3 months ago, is that we don't see with our eyes. Our eyes are like the lenses of a camera. So I learned this from a movie called What the Bleep Do We Know? And I realized that we don't see with our eyes. And I used to think that we see with our brain, but we don't really see with our brain. We actually see with our consciousness. And the consciousness is what sees everything. And it makes perfect sense. If we are all connected, and if we're all just one wave of energy, and we see with this consciousness, we see the entire creation, and we see everything that exists, then of course, what I visualize, it's really already there. All I need to do is discover it. That was amazing. Wow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Having breakthroughs in the middle of this presentation. I love that. Excuse me. Can you give me water, please? So the thing about this is, I started doing this. This friend of mine was on the phone, and she's saying, "So, do you think that the house already exists? Do you think that?" And I said, "Yes." So there's a movie called Superhuman, and the producer and host of the movie is someone that actually is going to be coming to our Gratitude and Manifestation Mastermind the first Tuesday of January. Now, all throughout this process, I created a Gratitude and Manifestation Mastermind, which meets every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. And sometimes we bring speakers and people that guide our meditations and that kind of thing. And it's really studying the spiritual principles that move this universe. Thank you so much. Thank you. So what happened was that this movie, Superhuman, talks about how these kids in Europe, in the United Kingdom, and in Germany, and here in the U.S. in Utah, are studying to read with blindfolds. Because somewhere along the line, someone discovered that we don't really see with our brain. We don't even see with our eyes. We don't see with our brain. We see with our consciousness. And these people in this movie, in this documentary called Superhuman, that's on Amazon Prime, um, demonstrate this, and they're able to read with a blindfold. I'm actually waiting for this workshop to start in the beginning of the year. We have a practitioner that's going to teach us this. So, so what happens is that this breakthrough says that if that house is possible, it already exists, and it already exists because I visualized it. That means that anything that we visualize, anything, it's already part of it. It's already part of our world. It's already part of this whole energy wave that we're in. And all we need to do is discover it within ourselves. And I believe that what we do with this gratitude work, and many philosophers, many awakened people have talked about gratitude being the highest virtue and the virtue that actually elevates us to a different dimension. Now, I go throughout my day, maybe not today, maybe not in LA traffic, going, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for that. And coming here, I probably should have done that. I probably would have gotten here much quicker if I would have said thank you, thank you, thank you. But I didn't. I was so much more concerned. Anyway, so I started doing this gratitude work, and so I'm going to give you a couple of tips. So, first thing I do in the morning, as soon as I wake up, I don't return text messages. I don't return emails. I don't return anything. I don't look at anything. The moment that I wake up, I say thank you. The moment that I open my eyes, I say thank you. And then I I open up this app called Vision Board. It's on the App Store for the iPhone. I don't know if there are any for the Androids, but I opened that app and I've actually loaded up all the images of the stuff that I want in my life onto this app, and I've also loaded up statements. I'm happy and grateful for being super healthy. I am super healthy. I am super successful, and I put these statements in the app, and you click on this play button on the app, and it will show you all the images that you have within 1 second. And you may not see it consciously, but it goes right into our subconscious immediately. The brain picks all those images up immediately. And so it starts matching our reality with those images. That's basically what that does. And I do this and I play this over and over again for 2 minutes. And over and over and over and over again. That's the first thing that I do in the morning. Then I meditate. For many years, I meditated for 30 to 45 minutes a day. Lately, in the last 5-6 months, I've been using a guided meditation, and I discovered that I want to create a different guided meditation. And I had a friend of mine basically create one with me. I'm going to modify the one that we created because I think it's a little fast-paced, but so what I'm doing now is I'm creating my own guided meditation and recording it. And playing it so that I have enough time to visualize my day. Because what I do is I meditate and I have this guided meditation, and then when the guided meditation stops, then I visualize my day and creating my day, going through my day, knowing the appointments that I need to have, knowing the things that I need to do, and visualizing the perfect outcome for my day. Unfortunately, never mind. I didn't do this today, but because otherwise I would have been here on time and I would have been here much more present than I am now. Anyway, so I started going through my day and visualizing the outcome that I want. I close my eyes and I start visualizing the perfect outcome. What is it that I want out of that meeting? What is it that I want out of that call? And undoubtedly, that's exactly what happens. in every call, in every meeting, in everything that I do, that's what happens. Um, there's also, in What the Bleep Do We Know, in that movie, there's one of the panelists, this Indian professor, says that he believes that we are here to develop our sense of intentionality. And I believe that that's the case. That we're here to develop our sense of intentionality. So everything that I do now, I set an intention for. I put my hand on my heart before I go into any meeting. I put my hand on my heart and I say, this is what I love for it to happen. And this is what I start doing. And I start visualizing, going into this meeting, into this phone call, and things start happening, things start moving. Um, so it's been a discovery that every intention that I put there, if I'm intentional about something, things happen. Things happen with or without me saying a word many times. Every text that I send now, if I it's funny because I go through so much information and I dispense so much information that it never occurred to me to actually do the same thing for even the most simplest text to people. The ones where I say Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, Happy Birthday. I'm going to start infusing them with this intention that I want them to feel loved. Um, very important because I am the dispenser of love. Um, so the other app that I use is called the Subliminator. And the Subliminator is that you record in your own voice these messages that you want to put into your subconscious. So my Subliminator app for iPhones, I don't know if there's any for Android, but you record your own voice onto this and you start using or you use statements like I am super successful, I am super powerful, I am super healthy. So that's how I started doing it. Then I remembered that 16 years ago I went to see this woman named Jay-Z Knight, and she's actually the producer of What the Bleep Do We Know. And she said that using a statement like, I have always been super successful for as long as I can remember, anything that you put in between that sentence, you will manifest. And I proved it. I've proven it. It was amazing. I was amazed. So I use that's the kind of statement that I use now for my Subliminator. I say, I have always been super successful for as long as I can remember. I have always been a billionaire for as long as I can remember. You heard it here first. um, so that's what I do. Those two apps are very important. The meditation, and then I write after my meditation, I write. By the way, the Subliminator app, I play as I'm going to sleep. I play this and I put a timer on. I put it for 30 minutes. As I'm going to sleep, in that bridge, there's a moment there where the subconscious is completely wide open. So I start putting this information in, it's happening. Also, you can't play it that loud because otherwise your brain is going to reject it. So you have to put I put some waves on top of it, some waves from YouTube videos. I put those waves on top of those messages where I can barely hear the pss, 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 pss of my voice. And I play this for 30 minutes and I let the waves run all night. That's how I go to sleep because my house is going to be right on the beach anyway. So better get used to it. So those are two things that I do. And in the gratitude exercises, we talk about holding a rock in our hands right before we go to sleep. And what that does is that when we hold that rock in our hands, we are prompted to think of the best thing that happened to us that day. And what I do is I go through all the best things that happened to me that day instead of going through all the bad things that happened that day, right? So we go to sleep with a completely different outlook of what happened in our day, and we go to sleep with a much more positive feeling. So that's how I go to sleep. Excuse me. So I'm going to go through the exercises. The first exercise is you write 10 things down. We're starting a new cycle of the gratitude group of the gratitude exercises tomorrow. So if you want to jump on board, my number is 310-497-3495. 310-497-3495. And you can ask me to add you to the list, and I'll be more than happy to do that. So what I do is you write 10 things down that you're grateful for in advance. Now, when I started doing these gratitude exercises, I was being grateful for things that I already had. So what has happened is that's changed because my experience has changed. And so now I use gratitude in advance to create what I want in my life. So I take 9 things that I want to have in my life, and then I have another 3 actually. So I do more than 10 that are things that I already have that I'm grateful for, because I think that that having a combination of both may be more powerful. So that's what I do. And then that's the first day. You write 10 things down. You say, I'm happy and grateful for being so healthy because my body feels like a 25-year-old man. That's basically, and I visualize that. I visualize my body being healthy. I visualize my body, my brain, my everything about me being super healthy, being extraordinary energy, having an amazing life, and I just feel it. And then you start feeling it. And as you feel it, you see how it's easy to get there. So the second day is this gratitude rock. So you pick up a rock, crystal, whatever you want, coin, and you hold it in your hand every night as you're falling asleep. Many times I fall asleep with the rock in my hand, and then I find it in the morning, like, pinching my elbow or something. Just kidding. And so I use that gratitude rock and I hold it in my hand and I think of all the best things that happened to me that day. That's a powerful, powerful exercise. I love that. The third exercise are 3 people that you're grateful for to have in your life, right? And you write, I'm happy and grateful for I use my son, of course, even my ex-wife is in the list because, without my ex-wife, I wouldn't have my son. So, and I say, I'm happy and grateful for Napoleon. Yes, I named my son Napoleon Ray. As if one Napoleon wasn't enough, I named him Napoleon with the agreement of my ex-wife, by the way. And I write, I'm happy and grateful for my son because he's taught me unconditional love. And then I say, thank you, thank you, thank you. So that's what you do. After, in that 10 items list, by the way, that 10 item list, you do every single day. Every single day. You don't skip a day for any of that. And in those 10 item lists, you read them to yourself, you visualize them, and you attach the feeling of how you would feel by having gotten what you want to get. How does that feel? How do you feel when you have $2 million in the bank? How do you feel when you're super healthy? How do you feel when all of these things are coming to your life? How do you feel when that car that you wanted is in your life. You basically had that, develop that feeling within you. As you develop that feeling and visualize it, the possibilities start opening up. And the universe, God, this benevolent energy, this whatever you want to call it, this energy, this intelligent field shows us the way. It basically says it's like putting on Waze. You know, you put on Waze and you say, I'm going there. Yes. And then you go and you follow the road. That's what the universe does. Um, and you say, once you visualize them and you attach feeling to them, you say, thank you, thank you, thank you, 3 times. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And you use this every single day. And then when in the third day, when we're doing those, being grateful for people, for the 3 people in our lives that are closest to us, or the people that we wish the best to, then I say thank you, thank you, thank you, because you've taught me unconditional love, because whatever, all the things that I'm thankful for my son. And then I say thank you, thank you, thank you. Then the fourth day is an exercise where you do the 10 things, the 10 items list, right? And then you write down in a piece of paper, I'm happy and grateful for how healthy I am, because it's helped me, my health has helped me rejuvenate my body, whatever you want to put in there. The exercise actually says, I'm happy and grateful for the gift of health, because it's kept my body going, and it's kept me alert, and it's kept me blah, blah, blah. You write down whatever you want to write down on that piece of paper. And you're supposed to see this every single day, that day, 3 times. You open it up 3 times that day. But what I've done is that I use that exercise and I carry that paper all 28 days. So I'm constantly seeing it, opening it up, knowing that I'm healthy, knowing that this is all working for my benefit, that the universe is always working for my benefit. The fifth exercise is actually an amazing exercise, is that you write on a piece of paper. The exercise is that you write on a Post-it note, you write, I'm happy and grateful for all the money that has been given to me all throughout my life. And so you write that and you post it on a dollar bill, and you carry that in your pocket, and you open that bill 3 times that day. Now, I do that every single day now. I don't, and many times I'm thinking, I'm happy and grateful for all the money that's been given to me all throughout my life. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I look at that piece of paper often, all throughout the 28 days. The sixth exercise, now I'm like, okay, better. I've been doing this only for 6 years. So the sixth exercise is bear with me. You repeat the exercise, the 10 items list, and then while you're at work today, imagine you have an invisible manager that's following you around, that's saying, you did a great job doing that. Oh, great job doing that. And then you start looking for things that you're grateful for at work, which for many of you may be a challenge. But once you start doing this, it's going to shift the way your relationship is with your job. It's going to shift your relationship with your manager or your superiors. That's happened for me often. And so you say, I'm grateful for all the money that I got paid today, because it's helped me pay my rent. It's helped me pay my bills. It's helped me pay whatever. Then the seventh exercise, the seventh day, is a way out of negativity. Choose a problem or a negative situation in your life that you most want to resolve. List 10 things that you're grateful for about the situation. And at the end of your list, write thank you, thank you, thank you for the perfect resolution. And then you practice that seventh day. If you can get through one day, that day, without saying anything negative. If you notice, yourself thinking of or saying anything negative, stop immediately and say, but I have to say that I'm grateful for. And you list something that you're grateful for. And you start going through your day like that. It's going to shift your day. It's going to change the way that you see the world. It's going to change your relationship with people. That's the seventh day. The eighth day is the magic ingredients. So you do the 10 item list, and then before you drink or eat anything, you sprinkle deliciousness, nutritiousness on the food. And you visualize this food having such an amazing effect on your body and nourishing your body. And you say, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love that. Your food will taste different, I can tell you. It's changed for me. Then the ninth day is you do the 10 item list. The ninth day is when you have a pile of bills that you haven't paid or you pay, and you put, if you don't, whether you have the money or not, you write on each bill, I'm very grateful for all the money that I've been given that's enabled me to pay this bill. That's what I put. And I say, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I visualize that bill being paid, And when I'm in that alignment, when I'm in that zone, everything becomes easier. And it comes easiest when you practice these exercises. Then the 10th day is you do the 10 item list, and then you sprinkle magic dust on 10 people that perform services that you benefit from. You can thank them directly or mentally and feel grateful to them for the service they perform. I do this mentally, and I do this, I sprinkle them with this magic wand that I call my fingers, and I sprinkle them with this magic dust that day. I sprinkle them many times, even other days. The 11th day is the magical day. You do the 10 item list, and then you say thank you. The moment that you wake up, even before you do the 10 item list, you wake up and you say thank you, thank you, thank you for this magical, amazing day. And so imagine if you were to do this every single day. That's an idea. Actually, I hadn't thought about that until now. It's like the applications of all these different modalities and all these technologies for the most power. I believe that we can expand our manifesting life, or and manifest the things that we want in our lives by doing that. The 12th exercise is people who made a difference in your life. So you do the 10 item list, and then you think the 3 people who made a difference in your life, and you write them down. These are different from the people in the third day, and the people that have made a difference in your life. And while you work through the list, you take out and tell each person what you're grateful for them and exactly how they affected the course of your life. I've done this repeatedly now. I do this, and I'm always very grateful for having some of the people in my life. My friend Michal, my friend Janice, my friend Reha. It's so many people in my life that I hold so dear, that I thank for in these exercises. Day 13 is make your wish come true. So again, you do the 10 item list, and then on one piece of paper or your computer, you write 10 desires, top 10 desires. Write thank you, thank you, thank you, as though you already have them. So this may be part of that gratitude list that you do, the 10 item list, but you write them down as you already have them and say thank you, thank you, thank you. So the 14th day, you have a magical day, and you do the 10 item list, and in the morning, Work your way through the plans that you have for your day and evening. With each day, say the magic words, thank you for having gone so well. Do this for every event you have until the moment that you go to bed, feeling the intense gratitude of how well that day went. So when you live in this vibration of gratitude, miracles are going to start happening. Things that you thought were not even possible are going to start happening. That's the whole purpose of this, of all these exercises, is exactly that. Um, Heal your relationships is day 15. Choose a problematic, difficult, or broken relationship that you want to heal or improve. Now, this is important, right? This doesn't mean that you're going to go and heal people, or you're going to go and or change people because you don't have a good relationship with them. It only applies to people that you want to mend relationships with. If something wronged you for something and you've already forgiven them, because that's very important, because in the forgiveness of that, you are released of the energetic field. So that doesn't mean that you're going to go and try to heal that relationship if there's nothing there anymore. What I've done is that I pick people that I really want to have in my life, that I may have had a difficult situation. Some other people, they came into my life and we had a season where we helped each other grow, because I believe that relationships help us grow. I know that I don't need, that I didn't come to this world or to this life to have relationships last for my entire life. That may be the case for some of you. That's not the case for me. You know, some of these relationships that I've had have been extraordinary, have been amazing, you know, and they last however long they last. And if they last forever, they last forever. That doesn't mean that I need to keep them in my life, especially when I've grown apart. You know, very difficult sometimes, because I found myself with people that were so dear to me, but we're not on the same page anymore. We're not on the same page anymore, and it's difficult to. So we're not on the same page anymore, and I don't. It's not difficult. It's just I need to let them go, and that's what I've done. That's what I've done with some of the people that I used to love. But you know, we think differently. We're going on different paths, and it's okay. My path is not the only one, you know, and we all have our own different path. And I just, you know, if our paths cross, if we align and we keep aligning, awesome. I love that. Thank you. Um, and then say 10 things that you're grateful for that person. That's day 15. Now, day 16 is the miracles in health. You do the 10-item list, and then you recollect 3 times in your life when you felt on top of the world, and give thanks for those times. Give thanks for those times, how you felt that amazing feeling of exhilaration, of joy, of happiness, how you felt. And think about 5 functions of your body that are well, and one by one, give thanks for each of them. So I think about my heart beating and how amazing all that blood feels when it's rushing through my veins, when I'm excited about something and my blood is just like gushing through, right? And then I think about the breath, you know, and taking that deep breath. Thank God I had COVID earlier this year and I couldn't take that breath when I was going through it. And think about that. How amazing it feels to take a deep breath, how amazing it feels to have those legs take you places. Think about that and say, thank you, thank you, thank you for this. Thank you for my brain that's improving every single day, that's improving my quality of life. That's what I think. And then my favorite exercise is day 17th. Day 17th is the magic check. And it's a check that you write the amount of money that you want manifested, and you write it out, and it's a check from the universe. I send it out in the exercises. It's also in the gratitude magic group on Facebook. So, excuse me. You write that the amount of money that you want in that check, and then you write down the amount, and then you visualize having that amount in the bank, and you keep that check in your pocket, and you're supposed to open it 3 times a day. I do it every single day, especially when I'm on route to manifesting a significant amount of money. I put it in my pocket. I have it on my computer. I have it on my blah, blah, blah. Everywhere I look, that money. That reminds me, I need to put a new check there. But anyway, so I start visualizing that. It's very, really powerful. That's actually how I manifested all that money that I manifested and that I've been manifesting. So I invite you to do that one. It's amazing. The day 18 is the 10-item list, of course. That's always the case. Then you write a list of the most important things or problems that you need to get done or solved. We'll call this the magical to-do list. You write 3 of the most important things from your list, and one at a time, imagine that each thing has been done for you. For you. You let the universe work in your life. And spend at least 1 minute on each thing, believing that it's already done, feeling the enormous gratitude that it feels for that problem, for that thing that you needed to get done. And then you say, thank you, thank you, thank you. And that's the magical to-do list. Then you have the magical steps. I love this. So do the 10-item list, and then you take a walk, and you take 100 steps, and with each step you say thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, what I've done with this is that I go through all the things that I'm grateful for, things that I already have in my life, and I say thank you, 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 and I visualize and I think about them, and I take 100 steps and 3 thank yous for each step, and visualizing what you're grateful for. I live in this stuff. Then day 20th is the heart magic. So you focus, you do the 10-item list, and then you focus on the area around your heart. And you focus on the top 10 desires list that you wrote in one of the previous days. And you focus around the heart, and you put your hand on your heart, right? And by putting your hand in your heart, then you visualize each of those things, and you say thank you, thank you, thank you for each of the things. The 21st day is called Magnificent Outcomes. And Magnificent Outcomes, you do the 10-item list, and then the beginning of the day, you choose 3 things or situations that are important to you where you want magnificent outcomes. And list your 3 things, and then say, and as you're writing them, write them as if they already happened. And then you say, thank you, thank you, thank you for each item. List the outcome that you desire, because the because is very important. The because gives you a point of reference, or gives your brain a reason why this is something that you want. The 22nd day is before your eyes. You do the 10-item list, and at the beginning of the day, you take the 10 desire list that you created, and you read through it, visualize having received each item, feel the great gratitude, and say the magic words, thank you, thank you, thank you. Then carry this list in your pocket today and look at it at least 3 times today. Read through it, feel the gratitude, and say thank you, thank you, thank you. The magical air is the 23rd day. 23rd day, you do the 10-item list, and then you say 5 times that day, you stop and think about the air that you breathe. You take 5 deep breaths and feel the gratitude for taking those breaths and say, thank you, thank you, thank you. Day 24 is the magic wand. And so you do the 10 item list, and then you choose 3 people that you're about or who you would like to help with more health, wealth, happiness, or all 3. Now, keep this in mind that since we're all connected, whatever you say about someone or however you treat someone else, you're treating yourself exactly the same way because we're all connected. Sometimes I forget that. Sometimes I want to be right. Sometimes I want to do things my way, and sometimes I realize this is really ridiculous. What is it that why do I even want to argue this point with anybody? Anyway, so you do that, and then if you have a photograph of them, keep it in front of you while you're doing the magic wand exercise. Take each person at a time, hold their picture in your hand, close your eyes, and for 1 minute visualize the person's health, wealth, or happiness has been fully restored and that you're receiving the news. Then open your eyes and with the picture in front of you, say, thank you, thank you, thank you for Janice having such wealth, health, and happiness. For Reha having health, wealth, and happiness. For my mother. My list is so long. Then number 25, you cue the magic. So you do the 10 item list. And then today, be alert around you and take at least 7 cues from the events around you in your day. For example, if you see someone with the perfect weight, say, thank you, thank you, thank you for my perfect weight. If you see the car that you want, say, thank you, thank you, thank you for my beautiful car. If you see the house that you want, say, thank you, thank you, thank you for my beautiful house. So that's actually inviting all these things into your life and into your world. This is a beautiful exercise. I love this. Then number 26, day 26, transformation of your mistakes into blessings. You do the 10 item list and then choose one mistake that you did in your life. If you have time, then you do more than one. I had maybe 2. The final, you find a total of 10 blessings that have come as a result of that mistake and write them down. Then read them to yourself and out loud or in silence say, thank you, thank you, thank you for my perfect outcome. To help you find the blessings, ask yourself, what good has come out of this mistake? What good has come out of that mistake? To me, at this point in my evolution as a spiritual being, I found that mistakes are really perfect, are in perfect alignment with my outcomes. And sometimes when obstacles happen in my life, they're really not obstacles. They're not stop signs. They're guidelines. So I live my life as the universe is actually doing for me all these things more than what I think it should happen. When I think of the universe doing for me all of these things, then it takes me out of the equation. It takes me out of this negative. Why is this happening to me? Why are they not doing what they're supposed to be doing? Why are they? It takes me out of that. That's what happens. It's all about the rewiring of the brain. Keep that in mind. Some of these things are very obvious. Are very obvious for any spiritual master. For me, I understand that I needed to rewire my brain because I wasn't so sure about how to go about life. And I didn't have all this information and all this experience because I believe that experience is very powerful. Once you see miracles start happening in your life that you created. I love this saying by Abraham, who Esther Hicks channels. It's not Abraham Hicks, it's Abraham. Abraham says that the hands in the clay, where I've actually called that shot into existence, called that thing into existence, and have it happen. It's the most amazing feeling. It's like I'm a wizard, and I wanted to be a wizard when I was a kid. I thought that would be, why do I want to be a fireman if I could be a wizard, right? Those people, those kids being a fireman, what the hell? Being a policeman, good luck with that. I'll be a wizard. I'll make 20 policemen with my magic wand. Um, the 27th day, it's called the magic mirror. You do the 10 item list. And after you do the 10 item list, you look at yourself in the mirror and choose 3 things that you're grateful for about yourself. And they say, thank you, thank you, thank you for all my good qualities. Now, when I started doing this, there were a lot of things that I didn't like about myself. And I would look at myself in the mirror, and it was very difficult. It was very difficult to choose 3 things. It was difficult because I wanted to be someone else. I wanted to be someone different. You know, I wanted my skin to be different. I wanted my hair to be different. I wanted my nose to be different. I wanted my ears to be different. I wanted to change so much about myself, and it took a little bit of time to do this, right? Now I'm starting to do my gratitude list in front of the mirror, and I'm looking at myself in the mirror and saying I'm happy and grateful for being so successful for so long, because it's helped me help millions of people throughout the world. And so I've started doing that, looking at myself in the mirror. And I got to tell you, everything has changed. I'm able to look at myself in the mirror and actually like the person that I see in the mirror. I love this human being. I love this body that I've inhabited in this lifetime. You know, it's just really a blessing. It's a blessing to have this exercise. It's really changed my way of being. And the 28th day exercise. This is our last exercise. Look at do the 10 item list. Look at the 28 days and make a list of all the great things that have occurred in your life that were seemingly unexpected or improbable. And they say, thank you, thank you, thank you for each of them, and feel immense gratitude. I look back at this 28 days, and I'm here standing on this stage giving you all this knowledge, all this information. To me, this is a gift to me. Every time I share this gratitude workshop with people and they get miracles, I feel like they're my miracles too. I feel that I'm here to serve this purpose. I'm here accumulating money because I want to make a difference in people's lives, because I want to make a positive impact on the world. To me, the money, it's just a way to keep score. Or in my case now, the way I see money and all this manifestation of money and wealth as an example that if I can do it, you can do it. If I am able to manifest things in my life, it gives people the example, the guidelines, knowing where I came from, especially the people that I've known for such a long time, and people that saw my struggle 6 years ago, and seeing me grow and manifest things in my life that were seemingly impossible. For me, the example and giving them hope and giving people an opportunity to become the gods that they are, because we're all gods. We're here to develop this sense of intentionality. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Become that, embody that. Manifestors, we're all super manifestors. You know, time to wake up. It's the dawn of Aquarius. So I want to thank Michal for having me in this um, wonderful conference. I hope this helped you. I hope that you can come back and share your miracles with me, because this has made such a huge difference in my life. I hope, I wish, I wish you an amazing life. I wish you the best life that you could possibly have. We're all one. We're all together, and wishing each other everything that we want for ourselves makes these things happen for us. By the same token, you say some negative stuff about someone, it's the same thing. So stay positive, visualize, know that you're a God, know that you can manifest everything that you want in your life. Thank you so much, Michal, for having me. This has been an amazing experience. I haven't done this in a while, so I'm very grateful to be here. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to have you on a stage. You have so much wealth and so much giving and a huge heart, and I appreciate it. Everybody here appreciates you, and all the people at home that was waiting for you. Yay! Yay! Welcome to Los Angeles. So, you're very honored by Spirit, and I really, I thank you for that. And sometimes we need to hear it, you know what I mean? We need to hear it. So I love it.
Follow your bliss, embrace the light inside. Embrace the light inside.